When you thought that Ubisoft and Disney could not stoop lower, they decided that it's a good idea to bribe YouTube content creators to positively review Star Wars Outlaws. Amazing.
Hey, what's up, guys? Riff here. So today we're going to be once again talking about the disaster that is Star Wars Outlaws. This is a game that Ubisoft ensured to its shareholders will succeed because they claim it is highly praised by players and critics alike. However,
Where? Who? Who praised this?
as more trailers and gameplay have been revealed, the reaction from gamers has been extremely negative. It's not just the woke stuff that's in this game, the gameplay itself looks really, really bad.
Yeah, this game has a bad story, bad character, bad folk stuff in it. Dude, everything about this is bad, okay? There's no point in actually talking about what's bad because everything is bad. That's how bad the situation is.
Now, what do you do when gamers are leaving very negative reviews and impressions of your game? Well, you
Call them sexist and misogynist Nazis. That typically works.
bring in the game's journalists to help bolster the reputation of this game. You've seen many journalists like
Why? Who cares about what IGN has to say even? And IGN currently is the biggest gaming news whatever thing that's, of old media leftovers. And even people don't even care about what they say.
those at IGN come forward to talk about how good of an experience it has been with the early access of this game. However, that has not been enough. Ubisoft has gone further by now giving kickbacks to many different YouTubers and content creators to likely leave positive reviews for this game in its early access.
Yo, we know that this was gonna be bad. I think Luke Stephens was paid to do this. And again, when I say paid, they didn't actually get paid, but they got lathered up like a piglet and, made to have fun. All the expensive things, maybe a hooker here or there, Juice Head got the same treatment. All of them. It was beautiful.
This is something that's been reported by That Park Place. You can see the title here. Ubisoft buttered up YouTubers and influencers with trips to Disneyland and boat tours to promote Star Wars Outlaws.
Expensive hotels and all of that good stuff. It was great.
Obviously, this raises a very interesting conversation, so let's get into the article here. So, as a part of this promotional effort for Star Wars Outlaws by Ubisoft, they have gone on record through their CEO saying that this is the biggest marketing campaign ever for a Ubisoft game. In fact, as reported by
Nothing is gonna save this trash-fired dumpster. We have seen the gameplay. It looks boring, it looks terrible, and now people are posting memes about how terrible the gameplay is.
a popular German YouTuber here, part of that
GTA 2 has better AI than this game.
promotional effort is giving these lavish trips and gifts to content creators while they also give them early access of this game to review, which leads to a lot of interesting questions and concerns. Number one, this sounds a lot like the reason Gamergate started about a decade ago. That started largely because gamers were tired of games journalists leaving and creating biased reviews of games where it was heavily implied or very obvious that they were getting early access and other kickbacks with the intention and the goal of producing positive reviews of these games. And that cycle will continue. And the problem with that is that gamers felt like they were getting misled on these reviews. They were seeing these
They were. Not felt. They flat out were.
very positive reviews.
The funniest part is the people who think that gamers are stupid are much stupider than gamers, so they can't win. All of these things are blatantly obvious to the absolute majority of gamers, and we just call it out and make fun of it. Dude, but no, seriously, after the disaster of Skull and Bones from Ubisoft, they need a hit. They need a hit. Ubisoft is currently burning faster than, anything you can pour gasoline on, okay? The atmosphere is literally self-combusting around Ubisoft at this point. Skull and Bones, complete disaster. Assassin's Creed Shadows, that's gonna be a complete disaster. And now Star Wars Canon demands to see the Space Manager. Absolute disaster, obviously. They're doing as poorly as Bethesda.
Of these games, they expected the game to be good, and then they would be disappointed. And that was really the essence of why Gamergate started in the first place. But of course, they are journalists and they actually have ethical standards, if they're actually applied. With influencers and content creators, they don't have those sorts
So they don't have ethical standards, eh?
of standards. You're not supposed to get anything that's really beyond what's necessary. So if you're a journalist, you're only supposed to get the early access so you can do the early access reviews. Anything beyond that becomes unethical. However, with YouTubers and streamers, they don't have that ethical standard, which leads us to situations like this. So let's see some of the incentives being given out. So Cyberpunk, the German YouTuber we're talking about, shared footage from British influencer and YouTuber Louise Julie, who revealed she was brought to Los Angeles by Ubisoft early and was taken on a boat tour that she claims was originally a whale tour to see if we could spot any whales. She added, so basically they invited a bunch of UK creators who got there early because of our flights were booked early because it's a very long travel time. It was like a 12-hour journey. So paying for not only these tours, but also their international flights as well. On top of that, another case here where
if you don't pay for the flight, you're not exactly lathering them up as good as you should.
An individual named Chewy reported in their own tweet, they said, Ubisoft and Star Wars flew me out to California to play Star Wars Outlaws, interview the game director and lead writer, and meet the cast. I am beyond...
Oh god, I don't want to even imagine who the lead writer for this absolute atrocity is. Is it another dedicated Black Master Race slam pig? Oh boy. Because that seems like the only thing that exists in Ubisoft. Again, Ubisoft is literally run 90% by women. It's a miracle that place hasn't collapsed into the void.
Beyond grateful for this opportunity. VIP tour of Disneyland tomorrow. Now, there's many other posts containing content creators sharing some benefits they have received from Ubisoft conveniently right before they made their reviews of this early access to the game. And this is something that some of these content creators are trying to deny. You can see the one content creator that was mentioned here, Louise Julie, who has denied in a pinned comment that she was in any way paid by Ubisoft or anyone else.
Yeah, this is technically not payment. This is what politicians have been doing forever. Well, you can't really get paid by a company to be favorable to whatever kind of law they want passed, but you can damn well be paid for a speaking gig at that company's seminar for 5 minutes and get paid a couple of million. Beautiful.
To make that video, her review of the early access to Star Wars Outlaws. However, as pointed out in this article, yes,
everyone knows that this is a bribe only but in name.
You didn't get a direct financial incentive. However, you enjoyed the benefits of...
By the way, I would not even be surprised if money was just offered under the table anyway. If I was there and they would be lathering me up, I would be like, yeah, but how about a little bit? Squeezable funds, How about that?
Early access, a free international flight, a VIP experience to Disneyland, and also a whale sighting tour. Of course, that is going to have some level of an influence on your review of that game. It really is just human nature to do that.
Also, I would not be surprised if it later turns out that they got given also gifts. For example, a watch that's reasonably expensive or something like that. I would be surprised if they don't. I would be surprised if something like that didn't also happen because it's just a gift. It's just a gift, dude.
And this raises the issue in the comparison of an explicit advertisement versus an implicit advertisement. Explicit advertisements are very clear. Okay, I've done many different sponsorships on this channel. You know when it's happening because I click the option on my video to show at the beginning that this video contains a paid sponsorship. However, with implicit advertisements, you don't know that you're watching something that is likely influenced by the brand involved. In this case, how are they going to give a fair review of this game when they're also receiving all these kickbacks from Ubisoft? That is the issue, because honestly, with all these kickbacks they're getting, it looks like this is an implicit ad for Star Wars Outlaws. And this is not something, based on my understanding and a lot of other people's understanding, this is not something they have to disclose. They are not under any sort of requirements, at least legally or through YouTube, to disclose these sort of kickbacks they've been getting. They don't have to mention these. They don't even have to click on the option that this is a paid advertisement. They can just go without mentioning it.
Who honestly cares at the end of the day? If you're a shill YouTuber, you are a shill YouTuber at the end of the day, and everyone knows you're a shill.
At all. And that's the issue. They now are giving these positive reviews, and people are largely unaware of all these things Ubisoft has been doing to butter up their review. And on top of that, as Mark Kern points out here, he is a longtime veteran of the gaming industry. He said this practice is very standard and very popular, where it's called a soft buy, where basically these large studios will take a bunch of press and influencers and wine and dine them, take them to exotic locations.
You know what's my favorite part about this? There was the Payday 3 thing with the Act Man, where he promoted Payday 3 and said it's the best thing since sliced bread, and it was, well, shit, as we all know. And he's like, oh, they didn't pay me. They didn't tell me to say all of these things. I got put in an expensive hotel. I got to see this. I got lathered up. There were even 3 girls that were very fond of me instantaneously in my bed. But, you know, nothing of that sort. My opinion is my own. And then he gives the verse. Then he completely just shills Payday 3, and it turns out to be complete trash. The best part about the Act Man, though, was the fact that he's so stupid, he probably didn't even understand that he is being bribed.
Give them some free merch and gifts, all with the assumption that this will lead to a positive review of their product. And that is just human nature. When someone is giving you a lot of gifts and treating you really well, you are more likely to view them favorably, or the product that they are associated with. So here's a good example of that. If I came to you, the viewer, and said, hey, I'm going to give you early access to a video I'm going to release publicly in a week, and I want you to review it, but before you review it, let me give you a trip to Disneyland.
That's a horrible example. Okay, this is human manipulation 101, by the way. Just the fact that he would give a viewer exclusive ability to watch the video a week early, or however early, it would be enough to sway his opinion, because if it's his viewer, that means that the viewer likes him, and that viewer would be like, oh my god, my favorite YouTuber likes me and he wants me to review this. And that would just be enough by itself to sway the opinion. That is number 1. 2, the best example of how absolutely insanely potent this is, because again, human manipulation, books, experiences, and all of that, love it, is the best example of this is just the fact that you just give something to someone. It's that powerful, okay? Give someone a Coca-Cola can and then ask them for a $20 loan. They're gonna give it. Almost everyone is gonna give it. Why? Because you were nice to them and you gave them something, and now they are in debt to you, which means you're gonna get those $20. Don't give the Coca-Cola, just ask for 20. People will deny you, unless, you know, most people will deny you. They're not gonna give just randomly money. But, you know, again, it's so easy. And this is so much bigger than that. Obviously, people are gonna be favorable.
Obviously, that would influence most people's decisions when it comes to reviewing that video. They would probably view it much more positively after getting all these kickbacks, not just the early access, but also all the kickbacks that are associated with it, like the trip to Disneyland, which is also present here with this Ubisoft case. And really, this whole thing boils down to a need for more transparency, and that is a big concern. When you don't have transparency, you don't really have any trust. And one of the YouTubers in question here, who was a part of this Ubisoft campaign, named Pete Smeets, who has over 2 million subs on YouTube, they admitted that they had a third party reviewing this video and approving of it. So eventually he had to take down his early access review, which was an hour-long video, like I said, to a very big YouTube channel. It was taken
Oh
down, and
man.
Peter would leave a comment on YouTube on the community post saying, "Hi, Peter here. We've taken the Star Wars video offline, not because we wanted to sweep something under the carpet or anything, but because it should have never been published and we don't want it on the channel. We'll talk a bit more about this on the next Pete Cast episode. I'm sorry." And adding further to that, he would add another comment on YouTube saying, "I completely understand the arguments that were made here and that was not correct. I had the opportunity to play the game for 4 hours and it was edited into a hour-long video. As part of the review process, the entire video was thrown back to us and an intermediary agency, not Ubisoft, asked for a lot of changes, especially to the wording at the beginning. But since I personally thought the game was really cool, I didn't see it as a big problem. This was a huge miscalculation." And then adding further, "Sorry, you don't have to pre-order a game, of course. You can buy whatever you like with your money. I absolutely enjoyed the version I was shown. The process behind it was for the ass, and I'm sorry that we didn't print more against it, but let ourselves be beaten open or wide open. Big sorry for that." So in the same vein, they're trying to, I guess, still incentivize and encourage people to go out and pre-order this game, which is a very
Yeah, because again, by the way, if you don't do this, if you are negative about something, if ever a game publisher gives you an early review copy of anything and you say, "Well, this looks shit," guess what? You're not getting the next review copy. Ain't that strange? Hmm. How do these things work? And not only from that company, chances are a lot of other companies are not going to want to deal with you because you took all this free shit that they so gracefully provided to you, and you said bad things about them. No, that's not good. That's not how we like to do things. We're nice here. We like nice words and things, and you weren't nice, so you're no longer here. That's how it happens. You can't even be negative about this because not you're gonna lose every opportunity.
costly one, by the way. But overall, this seems like a pretty big violation of their viewers' trust. If it wasn't for this video getting taken down by this third party, nobody would have known that it was subject to this additional review process from a third party, which seems
I wonder if the creators themselves understood that they are subject to this. Because that's kind of a crazy thing to not disclose.
very disingenuous if you're trying to give some sort of an authentic looking review of this game. And also saying this is the responsibility of a third party and not Ubisoft. I think that's pretty disingenuous, right?
That doesn't matter. It's still Ubisoft who told this third party is not acting on their own volition. Ubisoft told them what to do.
Because why would they be doing these things for these reviews without being under the direction of Ubisoft? Obviously, they are working as an intermediary for Ubisoft to help promote this game. I think that's pretty dishonest to try to frame it like that. And really, again, this all goes back to trust. I think there's a big violation of trust here. Again, they're not journalists, they're not held to some sort of ethical standard, but it makes their reviews look very dishonest in what they're trying to do. It seems like this is an implicit advertisement for this game that is being influenced and controlled by Ubisoft. And on top of that, it doesn't just hurt the trust with this channel, it hurts the trust with anyone reviewing this game. If you've seen the material contained within my video today, you are likely going to look at any positive review, especially an early access positive review.
Damn right. If someone says that Star Wars Outlaws was good and it's an early review, I'm gonna call sus. That's not his point, though. He's generalizing about everything, which is smart and true. Always be wary. People lie, and it's common. Anyway, that was good old Rev Sage Dissu. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.